Krishna is a lover of Radha. He displays many amorous pastimes in the groves of Vrindavan. He is the lover of the covered maidens of Raj, the holder of the great hill named Govardhan, the beloved son of Mother Jasoda, and the delighter of the inhabitants of Raj. He wanders in the forest along the banks of the river Jamuna. Narayanam namaskritya Naram Shaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udiraya. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances unto the personality of Godhead Narayan, unto Narayan Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva the author. Shrinvatam Swakata Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtanaha Vidyantasto Yabadrani Vidonati Saritsatam. Shri Krishna, personality of Godhead, who is the Paramatma, Super Soul, in everyone's heart, and the benefactor of the truthful devotee, cleanses the desire for material enjoyment, from the heart of the devotee, who has developed the urge to hear his messages, which are themselves virtuous, and properly heard and chanted. Nasta Preshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki. By regular attendance in classes on the Bhagavatam, and by the rendering of service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed. And the loving service unto the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 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 Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, the second canto, part 1, the 5th chapter, text number 37. Please repeat. Purushasha Mukam Brahma Shatram Etasha Bahavaha Yurvor Vyasyo Bhagavata Padyam Shudro Vyajayata Purushasya Mukam Brahma Purushasya mukham Brahma. Shatram etasya bhavaha. Shatram etasya bhavaha. Yurvur vaisya bhagavataha. Yurvur vaisya bhagavataha. Padyam shudro vaya jayato. Padyam shudro vaya jayata.
Purushasya mukham brahma. Shatram etasya bhavaha. Purvor vaishyo bhagavataha. Padyam sudro vyajayataha.
Purushasya mukham brahma. Shatram etasya bhavaha. Purvo vaishyo bhagavata. Padyam shudro vyajayataha.
Purushasya mukham Brahma. Shatram etasya bhavaha. Purvor vaishyo bhagavata. Padyam shudro vyajata.
Purushasya mukham Brahma. Shatram etasya bhavaha. Purvo vaishyo bhagavata. Padyam shudro vyajayata.
Purushasya mukham brahma.
Shatram Purvo vaishyo bhagavata. Padyam shudro vajayata.
Purushasya mukham brahma. Shatram etasya bhavaha. Urvor vaishyo bhagavata. Padyam sudro vyajayata.
Purushasya of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Mukham mouth. Brahma is the Brahmanas. Shatram the royal order. Etasya of him. Bhavaha the arms. Purvaho the thighs. Vaishyaha are the mercantile men. Bhagavataha of the personality of Godhead. Padyam from his legs. Shudraha the laborer class. Vyajayata became manifested. Translation. The Brahmanas, please repeat, the Brahmanas represent his mouth. The Kshatriyas his arms. The Vaishyas his thighs. And the Shudras are born of his legs. I'll repeat that. The Brahmanas represent his mouth, the Kshatriyas his arms, the Vaishyas his thighs, and the Shudras are born of his legs. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. All living beings are stated to be the parts and parcels of the Supreme Lord, and how they are so is explained in this verse. The four divisions of human society, namely the intelligent class, the Brahmanas, the administrative class, the Kshatriyas, the mercantile class, the Vaishyas, and the laborer class, the Shudras, are all in different parts of the body of the Lord. As such, no one is different from the Lord. The mouth of the body and the legs of the body are non-different constitutionally, but the mouth or the head of the body is qualitatively more important than the legs. At the same time, the mouth, the legs, the arms, and the thighs are all component parts of the body. These limbs of the body of the Lord are meant to serve the complete whole. The mouth is meant for speaking and eating. The arms are meant for the protection of the body. The legs are meant for carrying the body, and the waist of the body is meant for maintaining the body. The intelligent class in society, therefore, must speak on behalf of the body, as well as accept foodstuff to satisfy the hunger of the body. The hunger of the Lord is to accept the fruits of sacrifice. The Brahmanas, or the intelligent class, must be very expert in performing such sacrifices, and the subordinate classes must join in such sacrifices. To speak for the Supreme Lord means to glorify the Lord by means of propagating the knowledge of the Lord as it is, broadcasting the factual nature of the Lord and the factual position of all other parts of the whole body. The Brahmanas, therefore, are required to know the Vedas, or the ultimate source of knowledge. Veda means knowledge, and Anta means the end of it. According to Bhagavad Gita, the Lord is the source of everything, Aham Sarvasya Prabhava. And thus the end of all knowledge, Vedanta, is to know the Lord, to know our relationship with Him, and to act according to that relationship only. The parts of the body are related to the body. Similarly, the living being must know his relationship with the Lord. The human life is especially meant for this purpose, namely to know the factual relationship of every living being with the Supreme Lord. The human life is especially meant for this purpose, namely to know the factual relationship of every living being with the Supreme Lord. Without knowing this relationship, the human life is spoiled. The intelligent class of men, the Brahmanas, are therefore especially responsible for broadcasting this knowledge of our relationship with the Lord and leading the general mass of people to the right path. The administrative class is meant for protecting the living beings so that they can serve this purpose. The mercantile class is meant for producing food grains and distributing them to the complete human society so that the whole population is given a chance to live comfortably and discharge the duties of human life. The mercantile class is also required to give protection to the cows in order to give sufficient milk and milk products, which alone can give the proper help and intelligence to maintain a civilization perfectly meant for knowledge of the ultimate truth. And the laborer class, who are neither intelligent nor powerful, can help by physical services to the other higher classes and thus be benefited by their cooperation. Therefore, the universe is a complete unit in relationship with the Lord. And without this relationship with the Lord, the whole human society is disturbed and is without any peace and prosperity. This is confirmed in the Vedas. Brahmano sya mukham asid bahu vajanya kritaha. Hey, Prabhu, do you mind getting that cloth that's hanging by the door back there so I can cover up?
Oh, yeah.
Thank you. Translation again, the Brahmanas represent his mouth, the Kshatriyas his arms, the Vaishyas his thighs, and the Shudras are born of his legs. Thank you, Prabhu. Sorry, I'm just kind of cold. So Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Chatur Vanyam Mayasrista Guna Karma Vivagashana Tasha Kartaram Apimam Vidya Kartaram Avyayam. According to the three modes of material nature and the work ascribed to them, the four divisions of human society were created by me. And although I am the creator of this system, you should know that I am yet the non-doer, being unchangeable. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The Lord is the creator of everything. Everything is born of Him. Everything is sustained by Him. And everything after annihilation rests in Him. He is therefore the creator of the four divisions of social order, beginning with the intelligent class of men, generally called the Brahmanas, due to their being situated in the mode of goodness. Next is the administrative class, technically called the Kshatriyas, due there to being situated in the mode of passion. The mercantile men, called the Vaishyas, are situated in the mixed modes of passion and ignorance, and the Shudras, or laborer class, are situated in the ignorant mode of material nature. In spite of his creating the four divisions of human society, Lord Krishna does not belong to any of these divisions, because he is not one of the conditioned souls. A section of whom form human society. Human society is similar to any other animal society, but to elevate men from the animal status, the above-mentioned divisions were created by the Lord for this systematic development of Krishna consciousness. The tendency of a particular man toward work is determined by the modes of material nature which he has acquired. Such symptoms of life, according to different modes of material nature, are described in the 18th chapter of this book. A person in Krishna consciousness, however, is above even the Brahmanas, because a Brahmana, by quality, is supposed to know about Brahman, the supreme absolute truth. Most of them approach the impersonal Brahman manifestation of Lord Krishna. But only a man who transcends the limits of knowledge of a Brahmana and reaches the knowledge of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna, becomes a person in Krishna consciousness, or in other words, a Vaishnava. Krishna consciousness includes knowledge of all different plenary expansions of Krishna, namely Ram, Srimad, Vira, etc. However, as Krishna is transcendental to the system of the four divisions of human society, a person in Krishna consciousness is also transcendental to all divisions of human society, whether we consider the divisions of community, nation, or species. Prabhupada said that, a Vaishnava is a Brahmana, naturally has qualities, but you have to be, naturally you have Brahminical qualities before you become a Vaishnava, but a Vaishnava is more than just a Brahmana, But naturally, the Vaishnava he already has the qualities of a Brahmana. But you don't have to necessarily have to be a Brahman. You already have those qualities. And there's great, great, great sages and saints that are considered highly advanced Vaishnavas, But they naturally have Brahminical qualities, but they're even transcendental to that.
Where does that go?
Prabhupada mentions also another verse in this purport. chapter 10, text 8. Aham sarvasya prabhavo mataha sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam badha bhava samam vitaha. I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from me. The wise who know this perfectly engage in my devotional service, worship me with all their hearts. That's one of the nutshell verses Prabhupada talks about, the 4 nutshell verses. And Prabhupada says in the purport, a learned scholar who has studied the Vedas perfectly and has information from authorities like Lord Chaitanya and who knows how to apply these teachings can understand that Krishna is the origin of everything in both the material and spiritual worlds. And because he knows this perfectly, he becomes firmly fixed in the devotional service of the Supreme Lord. He can never be deviated by any amount of nonsensical commentaries or by fools. At the end of the purport that we're on, the text that we're on, Prabhupada says, therefore the universe is a complete unit in relationship with the Lord. And without this relationship with the Lord, the whole human society is disturbed and without any peace or prosperity. And Prabhupada says that happiness and that feeling of completeness, satisfaction, it's due to want for an ultimate goal. We want to know what the goal is. What is the goal? What's the point of my life? How does my life have meaning even, So when you're part of that varnashram system and you know your place in society and you carry out your services and in the center of all those activities is pleasing Krishna. Just like at every temple, we simply try to serve our Gurudev, and our Gurudev knows how to please Krishna. So we simply follow his instructions. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnam Eva Vashishyate. The personality of God is perfect and complete, and because he's completely perfect, all emanations from him, such as this phenomenal world, are perfectly equipped as a complete whole. Whatever is produced of a complete whole is also complete by itself. And because he is a complete whole, even though so many complete units emanate from him, he remains the complete balance. So Prabhupada says, there is complete facility for the complete small units, namely the living beings, to realize the complete. And all forms of incompleteness are experienced only on account of incomplete knowledge of the complete. The human form of life is a complete manifestation of the consciousness of the living being, which is obtained after evolving through 8,400,000 species of life in a cycle of birth and death. If a human being does not realize his completeness within the complete in this life of full consciousness, he loses the chance of realizing his completeness and is put again into the cycle of evolution by the law of material nature. Because we do not know that there is a complete arrangement in nature for our maintenance, we make efforts to utilize the resources of nature to create a so-called complete life of sense enjoyment. This misleading life of sense enjoyment is called delusion, because the living entity cannot enjoy the life of the senses without being dovetailed with the complete whole. For example, the hand of a body is a complete unit as long as it is attached to the complete body. When the hand is detached from the body, it may appear to be like a hand, but actually it has none of the potency of a hand. Similarly, the living beings are parts and parcels of the complete whole. And as long as the parts and parcels are detached from the complete whole, the illusory representation of completeness is not enough to bring the desired result. The completeness of human life can only be realized when the human form of life is engaged in the service of the complete whole. Any service in this world, whether social, political, communal, international, or even interplanetary, will remain incomplete unless and until it is dovetailed with the complete whole. And when everything is dovetailed with the complete whole, the attached parts and parcels also become complete in themselves. And some people may think they need to go to other planets to find completeness. But it's not really necessary to do that. It would mean that, I know Elon Musk says that, we need to be an interplanetary traveling species. That's what he says. And then some of the people also feel that this world may come to an end or be very, very diminished due to
Or exploitation.
Yeah, and nuclear weapons are just everywhere. They're just everywhere. I was just, the other day, Fed was telling me that we kind of owe a debt to Nixon because he said that the bombers were airborne, and because our indications were that Russia had already launched or prepared to, like that. So we already put our planes in the air and activated everything. But Nixon said, but I want to get confirmation. I refuse to do this without confirmation. And so he called up, I guess it's Brezhnev, whatever, and asked, have you launched or like that? And he said, no, not at all. Are you preparing to launch? No, he said no. So what they found out was later that it was, I believe, 4 computer chips that had malfunctioned and give a false indicator that they had launched. So even Nixon owed a debt to, I did not know that, So in other words, our world is teetering on a, Prabhu says it's a platform it's a teetering platform. We're trying to get our balance. But there's always some anxiety and some turbulence, upheaval in the material world. We know that. We all know that. We don't have to go to another planet where there's no trees, no rivers, no flowers, no planets. No plants, just the world of species, and what about humans? He wants to send 100. Well, if he wants to ask me, I would say send 2 ships, not 1 ship with 100 people. Send 2 ships with 50 people each. That way, if something happens, if a meteorite hits your fuel tank or whatever, disables this ship here, for whatever reason, may run out of fuel even. So don't stay too close together. Always stay at a good safe distance. But then you can take on all those 50 people, and that'll make 100. Which was designed for 100. That's the safest way to do it. Like Columbus did, wasn't it? He had 3 ships, right? Columbus.
Yeah.
So, we don't have to go to other planets. We can, because we're planet travelers anyway. We travel all the planets. That's what we learned in the Vedas. If they come here, we'll teach them, well, you're already a planet traveler. You've been doing this since time immemorial. It's time to settle down and become self-realized and please the Lord, and then you will feel complete. You'll be part of the complete, and you'll feel complete satisfaction. I just wanted to read something here.
We want to travel to Goloka. That's the planet.
Yeah, that's the planet. Thank you, Prabhuji. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. We do want to travel to a particular planet. Anyway, I've never had a dream like this as far as I know, but I had a dream last night. I want to share it with you. But it's rare, but I was just walking through this pathway and I was looking, it was like a boardwalk in this forest, I don't see anybody around really. Somebody's communicating with me, I don't know who they are, but I was looking at what you call a sidewalk, the pathway. Beautiful tiles that were so intricately done and clean. And I was walking along, and it wasn't me that was saying it. I think someone else was saying this. I don't know who. But you know how sometimes you say Vrindavan breezes here on the farm, And I don't know if I was saying it or someone was telling me, but these beautiful breezes were coming through, But no one else was around, no one was talking to me. I didn't see anybody playing or anything. But it was just beautiful just walking through there, Anyway, it gives me hope. It gives me some hope, at least. So I just sort of like to talk about the qualities of Brahmanas and saintly people. And this is from the Gita Mahatmya, Srimad Bhagavatam Mahatmya. This is kind of short. And it talks about the glories of the Bhagavad Gita, Oshi's purification of the Bhagavad Gita. Lord Vishnu said, my dear Lakshmi, this is glories of chapter 4 of the Bhagavad Gita. Lord Vishnu said, my dear Lakshmi, now I will describe the glories of the 4th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavad Gita. On the bank of the river Ganges at Kashi, Benares, is the temple of Vishwanath, where a great saint called Bharat lived. Daily, with the greatest devotion, he would recite the 4th chapter of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Previously, when Bharat had been traveling on pilgrimage, he had gone to the town of Talavana to take darshan of the deity Lord Krishna. On leaving that town, he saw 2 bale fruit trees. Deciding to take rest under the shade of those trees, he lay down, using the root of one of the tree as a pillow and the root of the other to rest his feet on. When Bharat left from that place, the 2 trees started to dry up. Within 5 or 6 days, both trees completely dried up and died. The 2 souls who had been living in those trees took their next birth as the daughters of a pious Brahmana. When the girls were 7 years old, they were taken on pilgrimage to Kashi, Benares. While wandering in Kashi, they happened to see the great sage Bharat. When they saw Bharat, they immediately went and fell at his feet, and in sweet words said, O Maharaj Bharat, due to your mercy, we both became freed from the tree form of life. When Bharat Maharaj heard their statement, he became surprised. He inquired from them, My dear daughters, where and when did I come in contact with you and free you from the form of trees? Also kindly inform me how you attained the form of trees, because I do not know anything of this matter. The girls first told Bharat Maharaj the reason for their attaining the form of trees. One of the girls said, Maharaj, on the bank of the river Godavari, there is a sacred place known as Chinapa. At that place, there was a rishi called Sachatapa. He was performing very great and difficult austerities. In the hot season, he would sit in between many fires, and in the cold season, he would stand in the cold river. In the course of time, he became completely pure and had complete control of his senses, and slowly he attained the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna. Lord Brahma went daily to take the darshan of Sachatapa, and went and put questions before him about the devotional service of Lord Krishna. Lord Indra, meanwhile, became worried seeing the elevated position of Sachatapa. He thought that Sachatapa might one day usurp his position as the king of heaven. At that time, Lord Indra called the 2 of us, who in that birth were Apsaras in the heavenly kingdom, and instructed us, quote, Go and cause the fall down of Sachatapa before he tries to usurp me from my position. After receiving Lord Indra's instructions, we went to the bank of the Godavari river where Sachatapa was performing austerities. We started to sing and dance very provocatively close to Sachatapa with the intention of causing him to engage in a sexual relationship with us. While dancing, our covering cloth slipped down and our breasts became visible. At that time, taking water in his hand, that sage cursed us. He said, "Both of you go and become bael trees on the bank of the river Ganga." Upon hearing his curse, we fell at his feet, begged his forgiveness, and explained that we were simply the servants of Lord Indra. Seeing our submissive attitude, the sage became pleased and informed us that we would remain as trees until Maharaj Bharat came in contact with us. And he also blessed us that we would be able to remember our previous lives. My dear Maharaj Bharat, when you visited Talavana, you rested beneath us when we were in the form of bael trees. You recited the 4th chapter of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, and by hearing that recitation, we not only became free from that tree form of life and attained birth in a devotee family, but we also lost all desire for enjoying in this material world. Lord Vishnu said, "My dear Lakshmi, when those two girls recited their history before Bharat Maharaj, he became very happy and left for his ashram." The two girls, throughout their life, carefully recited the 4th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavad Gita daily and attained devotion to my lotus feet.
Jai.
Haribo.
What book is that?
Huh?
What book is
Yeah, it may be for sale up here. See? It's got the Gita Mahatmya from Purana, but also Srimad Bhagavat Mahatmya, you know. Lord Shiva's glorification of the Bhagavad Gita, you know. This from this kind of Purana. It's nectar. Every chapter is amazing. I want to read just a little bit. Prabhu says about Brahminical, the Brahmins. One quality is clean, and this is in a letter, December 7th, 1975. Prabhupada says Brahminical life means to be very clean, very, very clean, inside and out. Inside by chanting and hearing, and outside by bathing 3 times daily. Peaceful. This is a lecture in Bhagavad Gita. Prabhupada says, "It is all in Krishna. You cannot find peace outside Krishna activities, outside Krishna consciousness. That is not possible." Desireless. This is a room conversation in Bombay, 1977. Quote, "I have gone through varieties of stages of life, so I have got full experience of this material world. I don't want it. That determination is there. Society, family, love, friendship. These nonsense, everything, out. I have tasted. I am no more interested with this material." Here's a real nice one. Controls 6 bad qualities. Quote, this is a letter in 1972. Prabhupada says, "Therefore, Rupa Goswami has introduced this system of regulative principles, which I have taught you also. These regulative principles, such as rising before 4 a.m. for Mangal Arti, chanting 16 rounds minimum on beads daily, reading books, going for the street sankirtan, preaching to anyone and everyone, offering the prasad like that. These principles of devotional service are there to safeguard us from Maya's attack by keeping us always enthusiastic. If we strictly observe these principles, we shall remain always enthusiastic. These are the sources and the maintainers of our enthusiasm to serve Krishna." One reason I like this is because it has 2 things in it that are just part of our life, you know what I mean? Anyway, Prabhupada says, preaching to anyone and everyone. So wherever you go, I was telling right there, I can preach anywhere and everywhere, you know. You know what I mean? Confirmation right there, you know what I mean? I don't have to ask, you know what I mean? Probably says right there. And the other thing is enthusiasm. It's okay to be enthusiastic in Christian consciousness. I mean, isn't that what the Gayatri Mantra is all about? You know what I mean? Repeatedly over and over and over, you know. So anyway, I really like that. And another thing is, these regulatory principles, it's not just no ascetics, no intoxication, no eating and gambling, but regular principles, he lists several here, you know.
Positives.
Positive, yeah.
Yeah.
So we got to keep ourselves fired up, you know. Keep each other fired up. Keep ourselves fired up. Okay, I'm almost through. Respectful. This is a letter, 1965. Yes, every one of us should be ideal to the other, so everyone can get impetus to make progress more and more. Yes, every one of us should be ideal to the other, so everyone can get impetus to make progress more and more. Expert. And this is from Vaishnava Behavior and the 26 Qualities of Devotee, Satsrudas Goswami. Expert, Srila Prabhupada. This is Prabhupada. He says, a devotee is expert. This means that he is willing to do anything. He does not say because he is a Brahmana, he cannot do a menial task. Nice, huh? Anybody want to make any comments? It's almost 8:30.
I was just thinking about that story about Bar Maharaj, that he had that experience, and this is what obviously it appears to be, because you said that you went back to his ashram, so he's already renounced, and he's seen two young women, young girls, relate this story, heard this story from them, and yet he was responsible for liberating them, and yet, or because he was reciting Bhagavad Gita and being, doing, just being a good Vaishnava, and he then becomes, he slips by becoming too attached to a fawn, little, was it fawn? Is that what you call him?
It depends on where you read it at. I've heard it called stag also.
But it's a baby deer. A baby deer is a fawn. And so, he's helping other people become liberated, and yet it's a very exalted soul, and his compassion overtakes him, and he's acting compassionately, but it's misplaced compassion because it upsets his practice, his regulative practice. And although he's not already on he's not on the Vaidhi Bhakti platform, he's on a more elevated platform, but it just shows you that no matter how much progress you've made, there's always, there's many a slip between the cup and the lip. You have to be extremely, humble and cautious.
Yeah, the thing about the humility thing, pride comes before the fall, but if we're humble, truly humble, then I've always heard it said that if a devotee finds fault in me, that's a blessing for me because it's an opportunity for me to become humble. It might be an offense for the other devotee, but for me it's a blessing, Any opportunity, and there's a lot of opportunities to become humble in this material world, So many opportunities that we're reminded that we're just tiny, insignificant, But it is a blessing to be humble. And Jesus Christ taught that a lot too, didn't he?
Yeah.
About the humility.
The meek shall inherit the earth.
Yeah, the meek shall inherit the earth. Yeah.
So, Yeah, I heard a devotee in Bhaktivedanta Manor yesterday morning talking about humility. And he said, that means you have to be respectful to everyone. That you see the good, or you see even people that you don't respect, I mean, the quote-unquote the karmis, and like you're saying there, you can preach to everyone. So that means you have to be humble to do that, and not think that you're superior, or they're just meat eaters, so they're just, they're ignorant, they're stupid, whatever. What do they know? And also even amongst the devotees. Well, that devotee, what? I'm not gonna, but a real humility, you see everyone. Because you have to learn how to discriminate simultaneously between, if you're on the second, hopefully we're striving to get off the Kanishta Adhikari and become a Madhyama Adhikari. So that's our goal.
I was thinking about that this morning. I was meditating on the fact that, oh my God, is there just no hope for me? I'm born in Kali Yuga, and I just feel that I'm just, just not qualified. Of course we feel like we shouldn't be given class, you know what I mean? We just don't feel that, who am I to say anything? But we always tell ourselves, it's my duty to serve Srila Prabhupada. It's my duty, so I'm going to do this, I remember C.K. Pichidai, he said after 30 years he'd never given a class. He said after 30 years he's made his mind up, I'm going to do it. And then he's been giving classes ever since. Why wait, right?
And sometimes those classes never end.
Humility, humility is Gunagrahi Maharaj had said that, so we hold things in forever, and then, maybe in the same temple, same devotees, two, if they're not getting along for years, they don't talk to each other maybe. But it says, but when you take initiative and just approach the other humbly, and then he said, actually, humble pie tastes very good. That's what he said.
I don't know if I've tasted that.
Well, that's a real humble statement, probably. You're so humble.
It's being frivolous.
That confirms you've tasted it.
It's interesting because, I can't say I've met a lot of, so-called puffed up brahmanas, but I was just telling Fayette the other day, I remember years ago at Ganesh temple in Memphis, and we're having a program there. Sannyasi was giving us scientific slides and everything. And so I was dressed in, it was obvious I was a devotee, full tilak and everything, And they had a big event going on over here in the main amphitheater type thing, and dancing and all that, And so toward the end, or halfway through, there was a big Indian gentleman. Tallest Indian gentleman I've ever seen, And he comes walking through there like this. He comes walking, and he's exiting. And I see him over there, and he sees me for 20 feet at least. He sees me. He keeps on coming, keeps just walking through big strides, And I'm there guiding people, telling them we're over here and what's going on. And Prashadam's in there and all that. And then just at the last second, I thought, well, he's going to deviate. No. He was going to walk right over me. Seriously, at the last second, I had to jump out of the way. So he was going to just run me down. Seriously. I'm serious. He came that close. Big guy, and just kept on just like that. It's like a puffed up brahmana. That's all I was thinking. Some kind of, you know what I mean? That's what I was thinking. Because he knew who we were, because of the way I was dressed.
But you're untouchable.
I'm an untouchable, Whatever it is, I'm thinking that. Wait a minute, I guess he would touch me if he ran me over.
Yeah.
So you helped him actually.
He didn't get contaminated. That was so funny. I've never seen anybody walk like that. He was going to run me over. He really was. I had to jump out. I realized I'm not going to, he's not going to swerve. I'm standing here, talking to people, guiding him in like that, And I just never seen anything like that before in my life.
He looked like a bouncer.
No, what I mean was he was a tall, distinguished looking gentleman, but probably like 30 years old. And obviously he might be rich, he might even, I don't know why he was so puffed up. Would a princely person just run me over like that, like in royalty, or expect me to jump out of the way, or I don't know. But it's true, that really happened. I got a lot of stories. I got a bunch of stories, yeah. Sankirtan stories. Yeah. We all do, don't we? Yeah, I never underestimate anybody. But yeah, everywhere we go, we can slip in Krishna. We really can. We just have to figure out what they're receptive, you know. Yesterday, the captive audience, whenever they come out and pick us up, you know, Enterprise, car rental, you know, they pick us up. Well, they're captive audience, so they and I both, we pass the baton back and forth, you know.
You have to drive him back to the Enterprise, is that it?
I have to drive the car back to Enterprise, and then they'll give me a ride back here.
Okay.
So the lady, that the first guy that we both talked to over there, and then on the way back, it was just me. So there's a big Suburban, they drove me back in, and it was an African-American lady, probably about 25, 30 years old, I'm not sure. You know, and she's very receptive, and you know, we hear it over and over. Wow, I've never heard about y'all out here. What's this all about? You know what I mean? And she inquired. She said, so what about reincarnation? I said, wow, you're one of the rarest souls. And I quoted a couple of really beautiful verses, like glorified her, Manushanam Sahasrishu, you know. She's a very rare soul. And you actually inquired. Thank you very much. You know how people we go through and they don't even ask about self-realization. Nothing about self-realization. And yet that's the goal of human life, to know God and to love God and serve God, you know. Anyway, so she planned on coming out, checking it out, but so many people, you just didn't pick him even, you know, everywhere we go, Slido too, wherever we go. Went in a grain store the other day, and there were three cousins actually running this grain store, feed store, you know. He was looking for some liniment, you know, that you rub it in. Anyway, so I walked in there, and I was impressed by how attentive they were and everything. I started talking to them. And I said, y'all look like the Wachowski brothers. So is this your operation? Yeah, we're cousins. We own the place. You know. And come to find out, one of the guys has been doing yoga for years. We gave him a yoga book, you know. You just never know. And the other gentleman was interested also, his other cousin. But you just never know. Wherever you go, you meet people. And you never know. Because I was on Sankirtan many, many moons ago, and I walked into this place, and I'm not sure why I was there. I don't know if I was getting a permit or what, you know, but it was on Sankirtan too. I went in there, and all these shotguns and different weapons are up on the wall. It was a police-type place, police station. I said, what's that all about? What are those notes written up there? What's those guns up there? So, well, let me give you an example. You see this shotgun right here? Well, maybe I shouldn't talk about it too much, but the 16 used this shotgun. Okay, we know what he used it for. So it shocked me. It shocked me. Then he gave me a bunch more examples. So that was over 30 years ago. People were right and left committing suicide, you know. And this was not a big town. Not a big town. I mean, not a real big town, you know. And it kind of shocked me, you know what I mean? But I believe it's probably even worse now, though, you know.
Suicides.
Well, Fayette told me yesterday the big thing now is anxiety caused by credit card debt. Yeah, big anxiety. That $8,000 is what an average family carries in debt, you know. Credit card debt. It's a lot of anxiety in our society. You listen to some show, probably an NPR, you know. Anybody else want to make a comment or anything?
Well, I heard that the highest number of death by gunshot is not inner city, like black on black, but it's white middle class rural.
White middle class.
Rural. I'm not middle class, middle age, like 40 years old.
I can tell you because
The farmers, they're killing themselves with their guns.
The farmers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you that no place now is off limits from the drugs. I mean, I'm talking about, I know because I grew up in Alabama over there, you know, and all over out in the country out there. They like being out in the country because then you get less people complaining about the meth lab smell and stuff. So they're just everywhere and they've got everybody addicted. We, well, I say as the Brahmanas, whatever, but we need to be out there being strong. And I told that lady, I said, we're called Vaishnavas. It means well-wisher to all living entities. And she liked that part about Vaikuntha. You know what Vaikuntha means? Free from anxiety and shit. She started smiling. I like that. I like that. So that's the name of the real spiritual world, Vaikuntha. Glory to some devotees, Shishi Gauriyataya Parapara, Radha Kanta, Ki Jai. Glory to Srimad Bhagavatam Bhagavad Gita, Ki Jai. Glory to the tiny little Vaishnavas too, over there.
Prabhuji, did you read today 37 and did you also read 38 as well? No, just 38.
37.